Good evening and welcome to another episode of Poor vs. Standard. Poor here. As always, we are not financial advisors. Everything within this podcast, YouTube video, posts we make, all of it is for entertainment purposes only, so please don't sue us. Don't do it. If you get anything of relevance out of these, podcasts and YouTube videos, anything of enjoyment, and you think we're, worth some helping out, feel free to subscribe to us at our Patreon at patreon.com/poorvstandard. You can also email us directly at poorvstandard@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter at vs_poor for any questions you may have. And with that, let's get into it. What do you say? So, interesting bit of news today. The SEC chair said that the payment for order flow, taking it, away, is not off the table of things that he is in theory looking at in order to quote unquote fix the market. This would be detrimental to Robinhood, and it actually did cause a dip in the price in Robinhood currently. So exciting times all around. The news of the week has been the stock game, as far as the growth companies have been going gangbusters for the last 4 or 5 days. It's actually pretty exciting. As you can tell by taking a look at the portfolio, we are up significantly from the last time I talked to you. We've actually broken the $25,000 mark again. So we're up almost $2,500 or 10% from the last time we recorded. So that's exciting. Excuse me. And yeah, up another $700 today. I'll take that any day. We have been playing some interesting things. The Amazon play that we had that was underwater for a little while. The 3,320 to 3,330 call debit spread, which was underwater for some time, is now officially above water by a significant margin, which is exciting. We're in the 3,400 range, so hopefully it stays there or goes higher. We've bought a few stocks. Our Walgreens position is doing okay. Tattooed Chef shot up over 21. Taiwan Semiconductors, interestingly enough, is going back up. It's up where I sold my call at around roughly. So our put is basically worthless, but that's okay. It was an insurance program. And the play of the day, if I may say so myself, was, and if you look at our Twitter, you'll see what I did when I bought it, how much I bought it for. I believe it was like 39 cents for per call, and I sold it at $1.02, so we made almost 3 times our money on a Smile Direct Club call for $5 call. And today's Smile Direct went over $6, came back down, but I sold it when it went over $6. I sold one of the 2 I bought because I figured that would cover my costs, and it did. So now I can ride the other one into obscurity if I want. GameStop up almost 3%. AMC up almost 7%. So overall, some good stuff for the portfolio. S&P was up about 0.5%. But overall, not bad. Futures are slightly positive right now, with the exception of the NASDAQ. That's basically the update there. Now let's go over to crypto, take a look there, because we haven't looked at this in a while. Cardano, 274 roughly, down from its almost $3, but it's up from the 250 that it dropped to, so that's nice. Ethereum, kicking ass, taking names, 3,200. Bitcoin, 4,700 even. Oh, it just changed, but whatever. So crypto's doing well. Growth stocks are doing well. It's a very interesting market right now. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. There's there's a lot of interesting stuff going on as far as the world geopolitical situation. and what the SEC is looking to do as far as regulating order flows, the legislation that is looking to be passed, whether it be addendums to things that have happened or been passed through the Senate, or just I don't know how else to explain this. There's been some serious money thrown out into the public, trillions and trillions of dollars, and a lot of it hasn't seen the light of day. The eviction moratorium was ruled unconstitutional, and rightfully so, because it was. And when President Biden signed it, he said it was, and he said he'd sign it so that it would give more time. A lot of people don't like this being struck down because they feel like, well, you're putting people out on the streets and stuff. But really, everyone that I've talked to, everyone that has any sense, knew this was coming. And everyone was given money from the federal government to pay their rent when they were told they had to stay home. They were given unemployment plus extra unemployment to do so. There are people hiring everywhere. And this is not going to be for everyone. Everyone does not think this way. And everyone isn't going to like what I have to say right now, but I don't care. If, in fact, you lost your job due to COVID, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. There are a lot of places. I can't drive down the road where there's a business without seeing a hiring sign. Everyone is hiring. So if you've eaten through all your funds, even the extra ones that the government gave you, and you don't have your job still, I promise you can find a job and you can pay your rent. You'll be fine. It'll be okay. So the people that are very angry about this moratorium going away are saying that landlords are, they made an investment in a property and investments fail all the time. There's a difference between an investment like investing in the stock market, like what we talk about here, and people who spend their life savings or buy houses and then they take those houses and they rent them out, and that's their business model. And then all of a sudden to cut off their business model and not be able to get paid, that's taking away their livelihood. And that's entirely different from taking away their investments. That would essentially be like me saying, hey, I know that you went to college for this degree, and I know that you worked really hard to get it, but there's and you got this job, but now there's no job anymore. We're going to cut your job, and we're going to make sure that no one else hires you. And we're going to make you still do the work because we still need the work done, but we're just not going to pay you for it. That's basically what you're telling these landlords, and that's not okay. And so with that moratorium being struck down, it was unconstitutional. You can't take people's property and force them to basically not do what they want to with it without compensating them, and that they weren't being compensated from what I understand. So some of them were, but not everyone was being compensated because there's a lot of money in these pools that the government set up that hasn't been dispersed. So that's my high horse. I'm sorry. I had to say that because that is going to come into play when it comes time for the next month or so. September is traditionally like one of the worst months for the stock market. And I think you're going to see the real estate market take a really big hit this month because of the eviction ban being lifted. And I think you're going to see a lot of banks that are foreclosing on properties. Banks don't want property because they have to pay taxes on it and they have to sell it, and it costs money to sell it and maintain it, like lawn mowing and stuff. Because if they just have this property and the lawn gets out of control, there's a lot of towns and municipalities that are going to fine them for their lawns being way out there. So they're going to have to hire someone to cut their grass. They're going to have to hire someone if there's damage to it to fix it. So banks don't want to own the property. They want to sell the property. They want to get rid of the property. They want the property to be paying them, not paying for it. So a couple smart banks might actually work with the people who are being evicted or foreclosed on and say, hey, pay us this much now and you don't have to be foreclosed on. And then we will work on getting you back into good standing so that you are not foreclosed on. Because that would make fiscal sense on the bank's half. Same is true with landlords. Like, I don't want to have to go out and find a new tenant. I'd rather just keep the one I have because you're supposed to be paying me. So pay me this much and we'll go from there. Or, I'm sorry, you didn't pay me for 18 months, so now I have to raise your rates by 50%. But there was a story I read where someone was really pissed because they had to pay first and last month's deposit plus 10 months of rent up front. And they were just super pissed about that. That's 12 months of rent. That's a year. You have to pay a year's worth of rent. If someone's renting out a place for $8,800 or $880, that's $8,800 up front. That's insane, right? For an apartment. Is it though? Think about it. You were just told that you can't collect rent from people for 18 months. So you want to make sure that you have a year's worth of rent to back up to make sure that if someone decides not to pay rent, it doesn't matter because you've already been paid. Or if the government steps in and says, whoa, you can't collect rent from these people, or if they don't pay you, you can't kick them out. Well, how am I supposed to get paid? You're already paid. That's insurance is what that is. For the people who just got screwed out of 18 months worth of income. I'm sorry, that's what that is. There is a cause and effect relationship here. If you take away people's right to live, they're going to make sure that they have that the next time so it doesn't happen to them again. Even if it was ruled unconstitutional and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen in the first place, you're going to have people doing things to make sure it doesn't happen to them again. Because fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, screw you. So I just wanted to touch on that and be prepared for that. Yeah. But overall, it was a very good last week in the markets. And I'm going to try and do a little bit better about posting the Swinging for the Fences play on Twitter. I know I haven't been doing the Swinging for the Fences, but I have been doing daily updates for the patrons as far as stocks I'm watching and things like that. And I'm trying to give a good balance of, paywall and not paywall stuff. Enough content behind the paywall that entices people to join, but not so much that it's diminishing the free content, because at the end of the day, I'm doing this for fun, but eventually I'd like to be doing it full-time thing so that I can just be here hanging out with you guys doing what we're doing. And the best way I can do that is to make sure that the content available behind the paywall is worth what you're paying for it. So bear with me while I do that. And also, I did a thing, and I'm going to post it on Twitter. And we'll see if we can do a little bit of a thing where we find someone worthy of accepting a thing that I got. Because you can't say giveaways and things anymore. So, yeah, check that out on the Twitter, and we'll take some pictures of it. And please let me know what you guys want me to discuss for you. If there's any stocks you want me to take a look at. If you want to see, my investments that aren't stocks, I'm happy to show those too. But yeah, overall, it's been a really good week. And we've made some moves to ensure that we continue to, bolster our numbers. And hopefully, a couple of iron condors that we have will pull through by the end of the week, and we'll see what happens. So, with that, I'm going to sign off. It's going to be a short one. There wasn't a lot of news to talk about. And I do have work in the morning, so good luck, stay safe, and good night.